Well, hello again, and here we are with another Views from the Veranda on a somewhat inclement day. Given the recent discussions regarding gender issues in Australia, I thought to give you some of my views on why is there a real estate ownership gap between men and women. It was International Women's Day recently, and CoreLogic, which is a very big research group, launched a Women in Property, the State of Play. So I thought I'd just share with you some of the stats from that. The report found in Australia men had a higher rate of property ownership in January 2021. Men had exclusive ownership of 30% of the something like 4.8 million properties out there, compared with 26% for women. The low rate of home ownership especially is significant given that women represent 51% of the population. The reason for the gap in the rates of property ownership is likely to come down to the fact that women having lower levels of income, unfortunately. Income is an important determinant in terms of home ownership, in that some ways of earning among women may be affected by their relationship to property ownership, and that can be explained in a couple of ways. Firstly, lower level of earnings among women make it harder for them to get a deposit. The latest statistics indicate that there's a gender pay gap of something like 13.4% between men and women. So an individual's level of income will have an important determinant of how quickly they can save for a deposit so they can secure a property. Therefore, generally with lower levels of earnings that women receive, it makes them harder for them to save for that deposit. That makes it particularly hard at the moment with property values on the increase. So it is becoming a lot tougher for lower income households to put that deposit together. It's also worth noting that an individual's income is an important determinant of how much they can borrow. So that means that men on higher average levels of income can obviously borrow more and tend to buy the more expensive properties. So beyond the gender pay gap, more women are in lower paid jobs. An important thing to understand about gender pay gap is that it's comparing with full-time average earnings. While this is useful for understanding the rates of pay for similar types of work, it doesn't fully represent the dynamic that's happening out there in the workforce between males and females. So the latest ABS statistics employment data suggests that females represent something like 67% of those in part-time work and only 40% of those in full-time work. So part-time work often pays a lower level of income and a lower hourly rate. So sometime kinds of work means that you are going to earn less income, obviously. So this would make it particularly hard in terms of obviously women independently getting into the market and therefore getting some return out of real estate. So home ownership is also much harder for singles, and women make up more of the singles than anyone else. This came out of the report in that the most common kind of ownership was a mix of male and female ownership, and that represented something like 44% of home ownership. This kind of ownership suggests that there is a partnership between a man and a woman, and that joint ownership can create greater success in terms of being able to secure a property by being able to combine their income. So a single parent or a single person household struggles to get into the property market, and that disproportionately impacts women. Again, with stats, something like 64% of lone adult households are headed by women, but 43% of properties with one owner can be found to be a female. So again, you can see that gap there. That may come back to part-time arrangements, or a lot of lone parent households, are single parent households, and therefore their caring responsibilities make it harder for them to attain a higher income. So given that property is more commonly jointly owned, single women may find it hard to gain access into the property ownership race unless they're co-owning possibly with a family member, a family or a friend. But that puts a bit of a systematic disadvantage back on the individual to fix. Potentially it limits financial independence. So look, ultimately the equitable income or outcomes around property will come from payments or processes which are put in place by the government to enable lower income households to access benefits to get them into the property market, or organisations such as banks look at lower income households and give them some sort of leg up. So if you are a female and you're looking to start in real estate or starting out on your own in the real estate journey, contact us, message us. That's why we're here to give you the best advice to achieve your property goals. But until next time, you all take care and look after each other. Thank you.